Hello everybody, it's Carol here at Oak House Journals and a big warm welcome from me. I really hope you're enjoying your holiday season, and if you're celebrating, or if you celebrated rather, Christmas Day, that you had a fabulous day. I know we certainly did here. And we love Christmas so much that we celebrate it again at New Year with friends. So I've got a couple of days between the real Christmas and what we call our alternative Christmas with friends to do a couple of crafting projects. And I'm going to be doing my 50 stack challenge. And Amy has brought out this week the prompts for guest check number 41, which is the one I've got here on my desk, and also number 42. So the prompt for number 41 was burlap. Now, I have a very irrational dislike of burlap. I just don't like the stuff. It's crazy. And if I do ever come across any, then I ship it over in a goodie box to my lovely friend Leanne in Australia, because as much as I hate the stuff, she loves it. But the only downside to that is that when we get a prompt like this, I haven't got any burlap I can use, and I don't really want to go out and buy some of it. So what I do have are some bits here. Now, these are not burlap, they're more akin to hessian, I believe. So this is some raw ribbon. As you can see, it frays beautifully. So I might use a piece of that, perhaps along the bottom of my guest check. I also have a plain one. I'm trying to keep those little threads because I love using those. I have some plain here, exactly the same stuff but just plain, and I might use that on my piece. If I'd had some burlap, then I would have used it for my background because I want to do some stitching onto that. And what I'm going to use instead is this lovely, really thick cotton fabric that I've got. So the first thing I'm going to do is to measure up what size I need, and let's do this now. I'm going to offer it up at the bottom here because I want to keep these frayed edges. I think they'll give me some nice interest on this piece. So I'm going to just snip that and rip. Oh, doesn't it rip beautifully? Now I'm going to use this top portion here. Let me take away those threads. So I'm going to go away and give this a little bit of a press. I think that's about it down there. There we go. I might get away with not pressing it. Yeah, I don't think I need to press it. So there's my background, simple. Now I want to create a hare on here, and the next thing I need to do is to draw out an image of a hare. So I'm going to go away and do that now. Okay, so here's my little rough sketch of a hare, and my next job is to actually cut out various pieces of this hare. So here's my hare now. I've just chopped his ears off, his head and his body, and I will be chopping him down a bit more, but initially what I want to do is find some fabrics because I want to try and applique him onto this background. So I've lifted out some, this is a scrap or a leftover scrap of some black silk, and I'm going to be using that for his eyes, maybe his nose too. I've got some fat quarters here, and there might be snippets of this that I want to use, maybe that green or maybe even that grey. This one has some of the little bits tucked away inside. I was really saving these for a slow stitch project, but that's small enough. I might use something like that. I have some scraps off to one side here from bits that I've done before. So there's that green. This I could use, and this would be quite nice, and as you can see I've got scraps of that, and this is really good because I've already put bondaweb on the back of this, so that saves me a job. So I might be using some of that. This is more of the same. And then in here I've got just small scraps of Liberty fabrics, and some of these might work for the hare. I mean, things like this are obviously going to be too big, but there are some smaller designs in amongst these scraps that might just work. And as you can see, I've got oodles of lovely little scraps here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go through all of these scraps, and I'm going to pick out fabrics that I can use to applique my little hair back together with. Now I'm going to pick out one that is the entire size of the body, but then I'm going to cut the body down for things like the arms and the feet. And similarly with the ears, I'm going to pick out fabrics for the ears individually and then something for this inside portion, and same again for the nose. So that's my plan. So I'm going to go away now and choose some fabrics. So I've chosen this fabric and this fabric for the ears. So all I'm going to do is put my ears onto the fabric and trace round with my Friction marker pen. There we go, that's one ear done. And I'm going to do the same with this ear on this piece of fabric. And that's my other ear. So I'm going to cut these two out, and then I'm going to find a piece of fabric for the inside portion of the ear. And let's have a quick look and see if I can spot something. Thinking something pinkish, but not too bold, so that will be too bold. So I've got something in amongst my scraps here, I'm sure, even if I have to use the reverse of something. Let's see what I've got. Oh, here we go. So these are a bit too bold, I'm thinking. Perhaps that one might work. Don't know, lift that one out just in case. What else have I got? Oh, I've got some gingham. That's nice. Now obviously this is not a Liberty fabric scrap, it's just something I've got in my stash, and yeah, I'm going to use that. I think that's going to be perfect. And first thing I'm going to do is cut these out and then trace these inside portions onto here. I've cut out the inside of the ears with this gingham fabric, backed it with Bondaweb, and now I'm just going to place each one inside the bigger ears where I want them to go. I'm just peeling off the backing here, the paper backing off the Bondaweb. I find it easier to do it with tweezers or a pin or something like that. So these are going to go on there like that. And now all I'm going to do is just give them an iron, and that will adhere these two pieces to those outer ears. There we go, that's those two done, and they're stuck in place now. They're a little bit curly, but they'll flatten out. And I've also got Bondaweb with the backing paper on the main ears as well, because those I will use to adhere it to this backing fabric here. So I'm just going to pop these to one side, throw away my scraps, and then pick a fabric for the main body. This is the bunny, all cut into little sections, and all I've done is chosen my fabric for each piece, backed it with Bondaweb, and then cut it out after drawing round these pieces with my Friction marker pen. So now what I'm going to do is, using this piece, which is obviously, as you can see, the main body, I'm going to try piecing these pieces on the top and hopefully recreate the bunny shape with all these different fabrics. So that's going to be really fiddly to do, so I'm going to come back when that's done and let you see what it looks like. So this is how my piece looks now that I've pieced it all together and just layered everything over the top. I haven't used the Bondaweb to adhere my pieces together, and the reason I haven't done that is because I wanted to lay them on first to see what they looked like. And actually I'm not liking this mishmash of colours down here. I'm really not. So what I think I'm going to do is repeat this process for everything other than the ears. So I'm going to pop those back again on that piece up there. For the foot down here, I think I'm going to use this gingham, and for the rest I think I'm just going to work with two fabrics, and that's the two fabrics that I worked for the ears, so this blue one and this one, and just alternate the pieces round the body and see how that works. Probably will have to go in with something for the arms to make those stand out, but certainly as it is, it's definitely not working for me, so I'm going to go away and do that. This is how my second little hare is looking now, and I'm a lot happier with it. It looks a lot more cohesive. I drew a couple of eyes just on some paper to try and gauge the size that I wanted, and rather than try and fiddle with white fabric and that black silk fabric that I have off to one side here, I decided that I would just glue the eyes on and leave it at that. I drew on a little nose and I started to do some outlining of his head, and I was going to go down onto his body and his feet using my Friction marker pen. But then I stopped myself for the simple reason that to adhere my little hare to my background fabric, I've got to iron it on to activate the bonder web that I've put there, and that will just erase all of the features that I'm about to draw in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop my little hair where I want it to be. Now I was kind of thinking just something like that, with one ear coming down here like that, and this one maybe going up at an angle up there. Probably have to move it along a bit, but I'll fiddle with that just to get that to work. I need to decide what I'm going to do at the bottom here, whether I use this to create something for, I've got threads coming off here, so let's just get rid of those. So I was thinking perhaps just putting a little portion of this across the bottom like that, or I could flip it round the other way and have it so that my little bunny is just sitting on top of the first fringe but slightly underneath the second fringe. No, that's not working. The red might be fighting with the rest of the image. Perhaps I leave my bunny as the star of the show and use this, and perhaps maybe even draw in a few more features, maybe some flowers or something like that. Let's see what this looks like. I have to use it, don't I, whether I like it or not. So I could put that there like that. Okay, so how about if I just go in with one portion along the bottom? Let me just see what that looks like. Grab my scissors. And maybe do kind of a little bit like that. Okay, I think I'm going to have a go at ripping that. Maybe just go with that along the bottom, and then my little hair kind of on the top. Yeah, I'm liking that a little bit better. What is coming to mind is doing some basic embroidery flowers here. I'm going to go with this piece along the bottom, have the double fringing along there because I've got to use it. So let me get some Fabri-Tac and just get that in place. So I've just put a bit of glue down the middle to keep the looseness up the top here and also here. So that's not too bad. So I can have my little bunny on top. Yeah, like that. I think I'm going to do that. Pull away some of these fibres here. Pull away a few more there. So it almost becomes like grass for my little, keep on calling it a bunny, don't I? For my little hair. Have that bit rusticy looking. So yeah, I'm liking that better. This is my little hair now, and she is all adhered down using the bonder web. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way round and stitch on my sewing machine. I have decided to do some just very, very basic flower stitches up the side here, just to try and connect her a little bit more to the background. And I'm going to use all these threads that came from this stuff and also from this and from this fabric here, and just use those to create some sort of background. Before I go in and stitch though on my sewing machine, I am going to try and do a few outlines just to see if I can get it to give it a bit more definition in places. So I'm just using the Friction marker pen. This lovely little one, the very, very fine one that is my favourite, is almost running out, I'm afraid to say, so I'll probably struggle to get much in the way of markings on here, but at least I can get some sort of definition going. So I'm just outlining the pieces that I've put on. So I've done some very, very rustic stitching on either side here using those threads from the hessian ribbon, and also I've used some of the other threads just kind of looped around at the bottom, and as always I'll put some pictures at the end of the video. So this one is ready almost to go on my guest check here. As I say, I will be stitching round it to help it adhere to my guest check, but this area up here is looking a little bit bare and it's screaming out for something to me, especially as the little hare's head is tilted up to that corner. So I thought it might be nice to use some of these printed fabric labels that I've got here, and actually I'm thinking maybe something like that with one of the flowers cut out of the fabric that I've used on the body, or I know I have some with eyelets, and actually that one's looking quite nice, and I'm wondering about layering those two up, something like that, maybe over a little bit more. I think I will get a little flower and cut it out and put it on this back one, just to take the colour up there a little bit. So let me get on and get that done. Got a little bit of the fabric from the main body and this ear of my hare, and it's still got some of the bonderweb on the back, so I'm just going to fussy cut out this pink flower here and some of the greenery and iron it onto the back piece there, or the back label there. So let me just quickly do that. Here we go, everybody. Here's my finished guest check, and I've fussy cut out that little flower, not very neatly because I kind of wanted this to look a little bit shabby and rustic. I've glued down the back label and I've actually glued this one on top, and I've gone round on my sewing machine with 3 rows of really uneven stitching. I've done a little bit of gluing behind the main hare and along the bottom here, but the rest is just secured with the stitching. So yeah, I'm quite pleased how this one has come out, I have to say. I really didn't think I was going to be able to pull it off when I first saw the colour combo of fabrics that I'd chosen, but I am a lot happier with these fabrics, and I love this messiness down at the bottom and my fringing down here from my burlap replacement, which was my hessian. So I hope you like it. As I've mentioned, I'll do some photos at the end for you to have a look at. And the only thing I need to do now is just put on the back #41 burlap. And what I should do is smooth down my stitching, so I will do that off camera. So thank you so much everybody for watching, and I hope you'll join me tomorrow for the next altered guest check, number 42, and the prompt for that was doodle. And I have a bit of an idea for that one, so I'm hoping that one will work too, because that will be another first for me. So until then and the next video, take care everybody, and look after yourselves. I'll see you soon. Bye bye now.